In this live martial arts training class, you're gonna learn how to use the nunchucks like Bruce Lee. You're gonna learn 5 basic moves, and then maybe some accessory moves, but 5 basic moves will give you the basics of the Bruce Lee nunchuck set or nunchaku set, all the things that he did in most movies that he was in. Starting with this first motion, which is the outer orbital. This spinning motion, you can hold here at the end of the chuck. That'll give you more spin, more speed on the more power on the end when you strike with it. Or you can bring your hands up more to the middle. It'll start to move a little bit faster. You'll have less power when you strike with it on the end. And then you can move all the way up to the chain or the string itself. You're gonna get the most speed and the least amount of power. And that's important if you're fighting with the nunchaku for self-defense, you're striking, you wanna hold here. If you are doing tricks, you're gonna hold here. And if you're going for speed, you wanna look really cool, hold closer to the chain or the string. So from here, we're going back to that outer orbital. Your palm faces the sky. You're spinning forward. Good afternoon, Justin. It's good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. After you do this for about 30 seconds, turn your palm down and you're gonna bring it across your body and do that same forward spinning motion. Do this for a while, turn it back up, turn it down, and then go up and down. And now you have the first real Bruce Lee. You'll see this move, the orbital, that's the Bruce Lee move you'll see the most. This is a very menacing move, but then when you start to see tricks, you're gonna see this figure 8. Fighting behind the figure 8 or the infinity spin, also known as an endless spin. You're just going over and over. If you like Bruce Lee or you like the nunchucks, you like martial arts in general, give me a thumbs up. You're going over and back, palm down, palm up. You're gonna do this for 30 seconds and then put it into the other hand. Repeat everything on both hands so you can fight, whether you have 1 chuck or 2, and sometimes we'll get the other chuck out and I'll show you how to do 2 at the same time. But for now, we're just gonna use 1 chuck, 1 hand at a time. Palm spinning forward. This is also gonna lubricate the joint, keep you safe from injury during this Bruce Lee nunchucks training workout. Palm down. This is the best way to learn how to use the nunchucks like Bruce Lee. Do the basic moves he did in all of his movies. Palm up. Once you learn how to fight with the nunchucks like Bruce Lee, you can impress your friends or just keep it as a skill set to improve your overall martial arts skill and ability. Palm down. I like to do this over and over again. These are heavy chucks. These hurt when you get hit with them, by the way. But I like to use heavy chucks because it's gonna give me a better workout. It gets my heart rate up. And let me give you a 2022 start of the year Bruce Lee Nunchucks training challenge. This is a challenge because if you remember Bruce Lee, one of the things he was most famous for, in addition to his lightning speed, was the fact that he was always jacked and ripped. He was always very strong as a martial artist. He did a lot of calisthenics, a lot of body weight exercises. So my challenge to you this year, and this is for Justin and everybody else, you're gonna do a set of figure 8 spins, both hands for 30 seconds, and you're gonna pop down and do a set of 5 or 10 good push-ups. Nice and slow. Open your hands up to strengthen the forearm. 10 good push-ups or 5 good push-ups, pop up. And you might be able to do 50, 100 push-ups, that's okay. Just do sets of 5 between. You're gonna see your heart rate rises really fast. It's gonna lean you out faster, and it's gonna improve your speed when you pair it with your figure 8 motion. We're gonna do that with all the Bruce Lee tricks. Do the trick, do the push-ups, do the trick, the push-ups. That's your challenge, your Bruce Lee Nunchucks challenge for 2022. The second move that I want you to learn how to do is this front and back of the upper arm turn. You're just coming here and back. Alaikum salam, it's good to see you. Salam alaikum, Happy New Year. Coming front and back. After you do this, you're gonna bring it in and you're gonna pinch. This is where we started. This is the famous Bruce Lee stance in so many movies. He gets intense, he gets his shirt's off, he's jacked, he's got all those muscles. He's holding this, and then he snacks it out and he knocks somebody out for self-defense or for the movies. But you're gonna start by just turning the wrist. This is all with the wrist. This hand, it's like you come up almost like an L. You're just coming down and back. You gotta get this motion first, then second, pinch it. All you're doing is snapping the elbow down and then you hold and you squeeze. And as you're squeezing, you start to push. You see that pushing? And then you let it go, and then it's a hard, fast strike. So practice down, 2 times, pop. 1, 2, pop. Do it 10 times on the right arm, getting a good stance. Right foot forward, make yourself a smaller target, harder to hit. 1. After 10, we're gonna throw it in the other hand. However you can get it there, I'm gonna show you that Bruce Lee hand to hand. We're gonna do that in just a minute. Do this other arm first. Go down and back, 30 seconds. 30 seconds here. After that, catch it. Snap. Back and forth, 1. Catch it on the second one, pop them. 1, catch it, pop. That was 3. I'm not gonna go to 10, but I want you to go to 10, and in the middle, pop down, do 5 good push-ups. And remember, your hands are open today because I'm gonna lead you into the Bruce Lee fingertip push-up. You wanna fight like Bruce Lee, you wanna look like Bruce Lee, you gotta get the fingertip push-up going. But we're gonna start with a hand open. This is by the way, if you ever do handstands, you wanna get better at handstands, practice. Once you get a good foundation here, start to open your hand. And as you're upside down, start to push with your fingers and learn how to really strengthen every part of your hand. Just like Bruce Lee. From here, after 10, you're gonna bring this straight up. Now look, this is the key to the hand-to-hand, like Bruce Lee, hand-to-hand transfer with the nunchucks or nunchaku. My arm comes away from my head. The biggest fear is that when you come back, you're gonna whack yourself in the back, or you're gonna hit yourself in the head. The only way to do that is to point your hand at your head. Wherever that chuck goes, that's where the other chuck has to go. So don't point your hand at your head, point it this way so it drops straight down. You want it to point your thumb towards your elbow. So from here, thumb to the elbow, reach in front of the body, grab it. You can see now in the mirror behind me, kind of like a 3D. We went 3D with 2D technology, right? With mirror technology, old tech. We got the 3D effect. 1, 2, 1. And as you get it, start to go faster. You want this to move like a stick as much as you can. Justin says he's going to try master the wrist roll with the chucks. Yes, the wrist rolls are all about, Justin, it's all about, just like with the bow staff or any other staff, you have to trust yourself and you have to let them go. That's the hardest, I think that's the hardest part. We often try to control every aspect of it. And if you try to control it, you'll hold on to it too firmly or you'll hold on to it for too long, but you have to really let it go. That's my saying for my life. Let go and let God, right? Just let it go. Let it go and then let it do its own thing and then learn how to be in connection with it. Don't try to control it. You can't really control it anyway. You just get it moving and then trust yourself that you're going to be able to release and catch. And then when you drop it, pick it up. You want to learn really fast, drop it a lot. So from here, we're going side to side. The key to remember, again, is that wherever you point this, that's where this has to go. Now also notice that I've brought my hand closer to here. You're gonna instinctively learn where your hand goes on all these different tricks. You can't do a wrist roll from here, right? On the wrist roll, you're gonna have to be almost on the chain depending on how long your chain is. You can do the hand-to-hand up here, but see how long that is? You just have to adjust. You can bring it even closer, but then your hands have to come closer together. So just play around and understand that there's no way to do it wrong. As long as you're moving, as long as you're learning, as long as you're training, as long as you're picking it up every time you drop it, you're doing it right. There's no way to do this stuff wrong. Let go and allow yourself to learn. And when it's easy, do it easy. When it's hard, do it hard. But all this is reaching in front of the body, let it go, bring this straight up. This has to be perpendicular, like a tree growing out of the ground. If it comes in toward your head, which it will, it wants to come toward your head, because the way we're wired, it's hard for us, when you first start martial arts, it's hard to separate or combine really body and mind, right? But so we think of our head as like our center of being for so many of us. And so your hands come closer and closer to your head. Happy New Year, Bobby. It's good to see you. Thank you. Bobby says keep up with cool content. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep making them. I'm here in front of, but this has to be perpendicular. Your instinct will be to aim towards your head, which means you're gonna hit your head, so don't hit your head. Unless you like the way it feels, but I don't like it. Not with these. These things, that's aircraft grade aluminum. Those hit pretty hard. So I'm coming here side to side, and then if you wanna make that a little bit cooler, then add a rotation, add an orbital spin, and see how much wrist I get into that. Try to get more wrist to try to make this move more like a stick. This is a good practice drill too. And this is really this, same thing, but I'm doing it in front of the body. But it also teaches me to get my hand away from my face, because if I come too close, I have to hit myself. So you can practice this, Justin. You wanna get super smooth in 2022 while you're getting jacked with those push-ups. Practice these motions. And then after you've done that for 30 seconds, bring it up and see how much smoother you are. The opposite, going forward, this is the more complex. It's not more complex, it's harder, because when you point your hand here at your head, you really whack yourself, right? So this one is where people are super afraid because they always bash themselves in the head. But it's the same rule. If you don't point that at your head, you're not gonna hit your head. You don't like to hit your head? Don't point it at your head, point it at the sky. Watch this. There's my hand. It's perpendicular, straight up and down. Missed it. Look at that. All I have to do is turn the hand. That's all that is. So from here to here, I'll never hit my head unless I point it at my head. Then I have to hit my head. So if you don't like it when you hit your head, don't point it at your head. Bring it here. And again, it's going in front of the body. In front of the body. This is how to fight like Bruce Lee with nunchucks. 5 essential skills. Skill 1 is an orbital, both outside and inside. Skill 2 is the figure 8. Skill 3 is the upper arm. Skill 4 is I call it the chicken wing, the Bruce Lee chicken wing. He wasn't a chicken, he had all the muscle. Add 5 sets of 5 push-ups or 10 push-ups in between every practice set. From here, squeeze, 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 pop, right? Practice 1, 2, pop. In skill number 5, going hand to hand. Now that is by no means all of the Bruce Lee moves. Let me show you how Bruce Lee took 3 basic strikes. Let me talk about the strikes are first, put them in combination to make another skill. From here, because I said strike, remember, I'm gonna hold here. And a lot of times people say you can't use the nunchucks as a weapon for self-defense because you'll always hit yourself worse than you'll hit the other person. That is bull crap. That's somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. That's somebody who learned the nunchucks from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. If you learn how to use them correctly, you're not gonna smack yourself harder than you hit the other person. The other person's gonna get hit harder than you're gonna hit yourself. The reason people say that is because they do the technique wrong. They're usually holding here, they swing, it comes, it hits something, usually a bag or a tree they're hitting in practice. It comes back and smacks their hand and they bounce around. Don't do that. Even if you do smash your hand, I don't care if it's broken, don't bounce around like that. It's just my pet peeve. If you hurt yourself, you own it, right? Shoulders back and down, stomach up and in, bring your chin back. Hello, Matthew, it's good to see you. Matthew says he can play with him all around his body, awesome. Show your strength, not your weakness, right? Learn how to show your strength, don't show your weakness. So when you do bash yourself really good, don't bounce around and dance around like that. You just got some good feedback. You just learned what not to do. So take pride in that. Get stronger and say, I'm not gonna do that again, that really hurt. And you can feel it inside, but don't bounce around like you're gonna die, because you're not. Yes, follow through. That's the first. There are 3 things you have to do to not hit yourself if you want to fight like Bruce Lee with the nunchucks. Number 1, follow through. That means don't hit like this and stop. It's gonna come back and hit your hand. Number 2, Strike with angles. If you strike purely vertically, you can. Imagine that it's going to hit and probably come back and hit you. Or when you miss, it's going to come through and smack your hand on the other side. Number 3, hold it here and not here for self-defense. If you hold it here, you will hit yourself and you'll have no power. We talked about that at the very beginning. Hold it here and strike with just this tip. You're not striking with the big bar across the face. You're striking with that tip like a blade coming through. Yeah, Matthew said he's also been doing this for years. That's the key, right, Matthew? Practice a lot and you'll get good. So learn how to strike. It's about distance. You're striking with just the tip so that when you hit or you come through, look, the momentum grabs that, brings it through, and look at that. See how my hand is here? And when it's fully extended, it comes back and hits itself. It doesn't smash you in the fingers. If you hold it here and it comes back, it's going to hit your fingers, even if it's fully extended. So learn 3 things: not to hit yourself, learn how to fight with it so that you're not one of those experts on the internet throwing shade at other people, throwing crap on their projects, because you don't understand that all those experts who are saying you can't fight with the nunchucks, it's a trash weapon, it's a junk weapon, they don't know what they're talking about. They learned how to use it wrong. Sorry about that, guys who are saying that, you experts. All of us experts are wrong half the time. I know I am. I'm probably wrong right now. But try it. Learn how to follow through. Hold it here and learn to strike with the tip, not the whole thing. You're not striking with the whole stick. You're just striking with the tip. And you're holding here just like if you were using a collie stick or a sword or any other bladed weapon or stick weapon. All right, so we have this first diagonal strike. Learn how to do the diagonal strike. This is a Bruce Lee. You want to learn how to fight like Bruce Lee with the nunchucks? Do this move. And then second, learn how to do a horizontal strike. Notice the follow through. Notice that when I'm doing this, I'm holding it here and that my arm is extending in a way so that I want to use it more like a stick and not just like a stick attached with a string. I want to make the 2 pieces move as 1 piece with the chain in the middle, fully taut because of and the energy that's pulling it. And then number 3. Sorry, Matthew, I didn't make you want to fall off your chair laughing. I just wanted to make that point. All of us experts, right? There's so many coaches these days. You get like 19, 20-year-old life coaches. Don't follow a 20-year-old life coach. They haven't lived long enough. All they can do is parrot what someone else says. That's the truth. And when you can learn a lot. I'm not saying that a 20-year-old life coach doesn't know what he's talking about, but take it with a grain of salt or a salt shaker full of grains of salt. And then when it comes to martial arts, if anybody says this is the only way to do it, it's like those small churches out in the middle of nowhere, and there's like 23 parishioners, and they all wear the long jean skirts. And no offense, and the big buns. No offense if I'm talking about your church. But if I'm talking about your church and they're the only ones who are going to heaven, there's like 37 people up there walking around in jean skirts, and the men and the women aren't allowed to go in the swimming pool together. Is that really how that works? Because that's what they sometimes say in these churches. You know, well, we're the only ones that interpreted the Bible right. Everybody else is wrong. They're going, to the other place. We're going to go up there in the streets of gold and manna everywhere. I think your interpretation needs to expand a little bit. It's the same thing with the martial arts. Same thing. Just because you don't know, you don't have to agree with it, but keep your mind open and learn. That was a Bruce Lee quote, right? Learn everything and keep what's useful, throw the rest away, according to your own need and your own understanding. And then understand that as you grow and you mature and you get experience, your understanding will change. And what you know now is not what you knew 20, 30 years ago. So you have, and I've learned that the hard way. That's why I stopped saying, well, yeah, don't do that because that doesn't work. For most things. I still don't believe in the death touch and the dim mak guys. I still don't believe that that you can, that the Tai Chi can beat all styles of martial, that the Tai Chi can beat Mike Tyson. I don't think Ip Man can beat Mike Tyson. Or Bruce Lee, for that matter. No offense. I know Bruce, I just said the worst thing you could possibly say. But And I could be wrong, right? How do we know? Bruce Lee's no longer with us. Mike Tyson's in his 50s and he's had a rough life, man. He's probably had a tough one though. We'll never know. That's the point. So stop having such strong opinions. Maybe that's your 2022 New Year's resolution. Do more push-ups, do more squats in the air, more air squats, more lunges. Hold a plank for up to 3 minutes, and stop having such strong opinions. Maybe that's the new one that you could adopt. That would help. All right, so I've done 3 strikes. 1, 2, 3. And just like Bruce Lee, I put them together in the Bruce Lee triangle. 1, 2, 3. And you can do this holding here, striking. Notice that it comes out here in the air, and I turn it up. Or you can do it more trick style, where you're snapping it across your body. See how I have that there? Just 2 different ways to do the same Bruce Lee triangle, and you'll see them done all different kinds of ways in all those movies. So that's 6. That was the bonus Bruce Lee move in addition to the wrist rolls. And since we talked about wrist rolls, let's finish with that. Your hand is here. Pop it here, open the hand, turn, and flip it over. Let's do that again from the beginning. This is the wrist roll. From here, 1, 2, 3, and then back. 1, 2, 3. And then slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I was gonna say smooth is steady, maybe it's steady and fast. But take your time, allow yourself, and calm your mind, right? A lot of times you don't need to slow down, you need to calm down. Learn how to calm down instead of slowing down. If someone's getting ready to smash your face in, you gotta move fast. Fighting is fast. You don't have time to slow down. You can't say to the guy getting ready to give the elbow in your face or punch you or stab you or hurt you, hey man, slow down. But your heart's racing, your mind's racing, you don't know what to say or do. Take a deep breath. That'll help you calm down so that you can respond with speed, power, balance. All the things you practice, nunchucks, and all the things Bruce Lee was so famous for. Bruce Lee was famous for speed. He was famous for innovation. He was famous for power, strength. He was famous for being in great shape. He was famous for trying new ways of moving his body. He was famous for breaking out of the dogma of old style martial arts where you could only do one thing. There was only one way. He was the one that said, be like water, my friend. Good afternoon, Awkward the Cat. It's nice to see you. Happy New Year. What are some other Bruce Lee quotes? Please help me out in the comment section. Go down. Happy New Year, Diamond. Happy New Year, Archipelago. It's good to see you. In the comment section, whenever you see this, put in a Bruce Lee quote. I don't care if it's your famous one or favorite one, but any Bruce Lee quote, and then comment on other people's Bruce Lee quotes. Yeah, I like that. That speaks to me, or whatever. Had a lot of good quotes. Google it if you have to. But let's get this online community to grow. And if you like Bruce Lee or you like the nunchucks, please give me a thumbs up. Those are the ones I have for you today. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'll see you in the morning. Thank you.